What's up, everyone? Welcome to Outside the Clutch. If you can hear, I have very rambunctious children in the background. I can hear it through my phone, so I'm sure you can hear it. Tonight, we have Jack and Heidi, or Heidi and Jack on Facebook, or however you want to put it. Who's in charge here? I feel like Heidi's probably the one in charge.
She's the boss.
We're going to see about that. No, I'm just kidding. So what everyone asked the question, but what got you guys to start into a reptile business?
A business?
I say you guys are a business because it's the majority of the income for your side, right, Jack?
No, we both have
Or
day
no?
jobs.
Yeah.
No, yeah, we both still work
I was
day
off on that
jobs.
then. Okay.
You
What
were
percentage? Okay. So what do you guys do during the day then? Are you allowed to say? Is it secretive? Do you got like a top secret clearance you can't tell anybody? Oh my god.
I do go to governmental buildings, but there's no
No.
clearance. So I do chemicals for
Contract.
industrial HVAC.
Okay.
And I'm an executive manager.
And that's
I'm
where
like
she
a-
believes it, folks.
I don't know how I'm a catch-all. That's the best way to explain it.
Nice. And what percentage of reptiles is it? Because I feel like you guys have been, at least compared to what I see at other shows, you're regularly one of the biggest tables. It seems like you have a decent amount of animals at every show, and you guys go on one of the bigger circuits of most people that I know, besides maybe 3 or 4 people that we know that constantly tour the country.
Well, we stay in Texas. We don't travel, all over the country yet. We're not there yet, but so. And as far
So
as
you're just the
percentage
big breeders in Texas. You're holding the stronghold in Texas.
trying,
Sort of.
sort
Not
of,
really.
No,
We just have like our own little piece of Texas, I guess.
yeah, I guess that's what you want to call it. We're here. We have animals. We go to shows.
Yeah. I mean, we breed what we want, and we just, like Jack said, he's Bluebell. Breed what we keep what he wants.
Keep
and
all
sell the rest.
I can and sell the rest.
So
There you go. Well, that was a great show, guys. No, I'm just kidding.
Yep. Good night. Good seeing you.
I mean, so business-wise, so it's probably a quarter of our annual income is snakes, roughly.
It's not bad.
Or actually quite less because I spent a whole
Yeah,
lot
he
on
spends-
snakes last year.
He spends a lot
So it was
of
like
it.
negative a quarter.
But if you look just strictly at income, it's about a quarter of our income.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Or it was last year anyway.
Hey, we got John in the house. Thank you, John. Jeremy. Vic.
Is there not like a thing where I can see all the comments?
You
Or is
can't
that just
see 'em?
gone? No.
You should
Well,
be able to
there's
see.
yeah. I'll
There's
fix
a-
it for him. He's computer challenged.
Oh,
Oh no.
I see comments.
Oh, like you have no idea.
All right. So what
Well,
were reptiles a part of your life before you guys got together, or was it something after you guys got married, or you just decided to go into it together? Or what created Southern Star?
Before we got married, I had a bearded dragon, or
Two.
two bearded
Okay.
dragons, and just a ball python, and fish.
and fish.
I've had saltwater aquariums longer than I have reptiles.
And I didn't have reptiles or anything growing up, but my cousins did. So they had a bunch of different just random snakes. And so I had been exposed to them. Like I wasn't afraid of them. I was always curious about them. It's just it never occurred to me to have one as a pet. And so we got together. So
And we started breeding them because the ones that I wanted were very expensive at the time. And there was no way we could afford it. But I could maybe get the pieces and make it. So that's how that started.
Oh
The
Lord.
breeding.
Here
Are they
comes the
coming?
meltdown. I'm sorry. Here comes the meltdown down the hall. Oh man. I gotta get an opposite room. Like I need a warehouse to do my podcast. No, I'm just kidding. One day.
I could use a studio for sure.
It's just Jack can't make that much noise.
Oh yes, he can. It kills him to be quiet while I'm doing mine.
I can't-
It drives him nuts.
I can't hear, so
he can't watch TV.
yeah, I can't do
or-
anything. Like I have to just play tiddlywinks or something while she's
Yeah, he
doing
has
her
to be
little-
quiet. So
Nice.
yeah.
So when did you guys get started with it then? So you started after you two got married, but when did it become an idea that I don't want to just do this, but I want to actually become, or I don't want to just keep, but I want to breed and actually make stuff and potentially sell it?
It was about a year after we moved in together.
Yeah. So 2011-ish?
Yeah, 2011. And we had our first clutch in 2012.
13.
Wow, we had a non-successful clutch in 2012.
It wasn't actually our clutch. It was retained
she
sperm.
or she was gravid when we got her or
Yeah.
whatever. But so 13 really. I think we started the business, the actual business in like 13 or 14.
Yeah.
Nice. So you've been around for, well, obviously you've been around for a little while, but how did you guys get kind of, because as Chris puts it, there's a Texas Mafia. So how did you get involved with that bunch of hooligans? That
We just collect them.
So
we're kind of
it
like
started-
we're kind of like the parents of the mafia
Now.
now.
So it started, we were splitting a booth with Mike at Arlington, and JT on the ball was beside us. And we got to talking, and we ended up just taking out the pipe and drape
and just made
it one big booth. Is how the first time started. And we started doing that, and then Carl was vending beside the three of us at a herp show, I believe. And we're like, oh, we got a lot of people looking at the lizard guy. So we were like, hey, what lizard guy? Why don't you come hang out with us? So it got bigger. And then it's just kind of evolved.
Yeah, then we've just picked up strays since then.
Just a few, just one or two. It seems like every Arlington, there's like one or two new people in that.
Oh, it's gonna be even bigger.
Yeah,
it's gonna be big.
I love it though. Like,
but they're not all necessarily new people,
No.
right? So, like, there'll be Jason Royer the Royer Reptiles will be with us this time at Arlington, and
Royal Authority,
but they're right beside us anyway. I don't know how to say omnipotence. Ken Simpson, is that how you say it? Omnipotence.
Yeah. He says
I'm not even gonna try to pronunciate
he
that.
He says it wrong on purpose, and now he can't say it right.
Yeah. So
he picks on Ken, and so now he can't say it right.
If I don't pick on you, it's because I don't like you. So,
well, that says a lot now. Now I know why I'm not getting picked on. No, Heidi does enough for both of you. Heidi can't let me go through a show without making me blush for a smart ass comment now. So I appreciate it. Who's the GF?
Well, that's the wife. Used to be the girlfriend. Is that what you mean, Victor? I have no idea.
No, I think he's trying to say who's the godfather of the mafia.
Oh,
that would be Jack.
No.
Whatever.
I mean,
it's totally Jack.
Whatever.
It makes sense because you kind of control the group from behind the scenes.
JT's
the pretty face.
Really?
Well, I don't mean control as in
control.
I don't mean control as in control the group. I mean you control the craziness that kind of happens when people start needing to be taken care of.
It's never
You're
my
the caretaker.
idea. Yeah, sure.
You're the
He's our bouncer.
That's probably more accurate.
He's our bouncer for sure.
Oh.
That might be accurate.
So what projects really got you started into it now that you're trying to for those that don't know, everyone that listens to this should know I'm obsessed with GHI, and Jack was trying to sling GHI stuff in my face right before this, which it's
Oh,
probably
you
not
should
right.
see
So
some of the
just
stuff.
don't look at his GHI stuff at Arlington, please.
Oh
But
no!
they're
Well,
so pretty.
well, the good stuff's not even going to be there.
I need to be able to pick it up though.
Well, you can pick it up and look at it and put it back down.
So the two snakes that he really liked that got us into breeding all together. Originally, it was a Mystic Potion and a Soul Sucker.
Mm-hmm.
Like those were his like two dream snakes. What, 12 years ago?
Right.
So I mean that's really what got us into it. And so we actually did make a Mystic Potion, and we made one. We've only ever made one by itself. And then for our second Christmas together, I bought him a Soul Sucker. Yep. So we got his two snakes, but that's kind of what started it all.
Basically.
Where did you decide? Like, did you guys sit down and decide throughout the years, hey, this is the direction we want to go? Or was it just, oh, I like this, oh, I like this, let's add it in? Or how do you determine what you bring into your collection now?
Whatever projects that we're fancying at the time. So like a lot. So some people will get like real heavy into just one thing. They'll have like all clowns or all, one, but just one thing.
GHI everything.
But I mean, that's just the way you like to do it. We like a lot more variety than that.
So I mean, we've got pods, clowns, hypos, ultramale, desert ghost.
We have things that we don't like. We don't do any kind of T negative albinos. I always get them backwards. So we don't have any T negative albinos. We don't do G stripe.
Preference.
Yeah, it's just stuff that we are just not like thrilled. I mean, it's just not our projects. It's not what we like. And so, but we have a lot of other things.
Mm-hmm.
No, I hear that. I mean, I have I wouldn't say a lot of recessives, but I have a decent amount of recessives. I want to force GHI with other or incomplete dominance, however you want to say it. Heaven forbid I piss somebody off by how I say something.
Technically, you can look at it all as recessive,
right?
Because a single GHI is a heterozygous form. The super is a homozygous form. That's genetics.
But yeah. So I have probably five, potentially six visual recessive projects that
like different projects or the same project, different genetics. Like it's all in clown or all
like I have clown, I have monarch, I have hypo, I have pied, I five, and potentially sunset. So I have a pause het that's also het for pied. So it'll long game, but I don't have the $8,000 to throw down on a visual sunset. So is what it is. I'll play the long odds, at least on one.
So in the past, hypo has probably been one of our bigger projects. So we were actually the first people in Texas with visual desert ghost stuff.
I forgot about that too. Thank you.
Yeah, so we've had visual
desert
ghost stuff for a while. I think that's kind of what gave us a name to begin with, like super early on. So like people knew that we had them and would come to us for desert ghosts. But I mean, we've got a lot of ultramel now. We picked up some monarch. We're doing a lot of double and triple recessive projects. So just in stuff that we like. We're just putting stuff together that we like. So
right. What's, if you want to say it, I don't know. I feel like you guys are pretty open, so I don't think you'd like hold too much back. But
no, we're kind of a boat.
What would be like the cherry on the top for this year if you hit it? Like, what's your special project for the year?
Hmm. I don't know yet.
Yeah, we hadn't gotten that far.
Well, no, it's like
Sort of.
depending. It depends. Like depends on which females end up going because we're just now like barely even starting our season.
Yeah, our
Okay.
season is way late in the year. Like last year, half of our babies didn't hatch till October.
Yeah, November, October. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah,
October, November.
But so they weren't ready to go to a show. So pretty much all of the babies we have are coming to the show.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
we've got quite a few. There's probably 100, 150 babies coming to the show.
Ish. Yeah.
So.
But as far as like the projects, until they're like actually going, I don't even count them as, anything because
You don't
you
care
know
when it's just a pairing. Yeah, that makes
well,
sense.
I mean, she if they don't even have follicles, like if they're not even building follicles yet, then it's nothing.
He doesn't
It's-
get too excited.
Yeah, it's just a
Till
girl.
they start
It's,
going.
it's
I can
just a
see
girl.
that. Like he's
Yeah,
just
it's just a girl sitting there
he's the
eating.
life of the
I mean-
party right now.
Yeah,
I have a clutch in the incubator that I'm waiting to pip.
Don't
It's a
beat me up at
GHI.
Arlington, Jeff.
it's GHI stuff in the incubator
It's
right now.
GHI stuff. We're trying to prove her out. So that'll be exciting.
See if she's yellow belly or asphalt.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I mean, it's not super exciting, but it's something. I can hear the kids. Are they singing?
That's Gabriel. His sister threw a temper tantrum and slammed the door. I don't know if you heard that earlier. Now
Nope,
she's
didn't
sitting
hear that
there
part.
kicking the door every now and then. So he's out there saying, May May, May May. He's egging her on, trying to get her to come out of the room. But yeah.
Well,
No, that it makes sense. How many are you guys doing a year? Like what are you averaging right now as far as
like clutches.
clutches per year?
We had-
So last year was our biggest year we've ever done, and that was 49. The three previous years was around 30. So
and then we expanded this year again.
if I can
Twice.
hit if I can hit like 50 because I was one short, that's kind of like my goal for this year is to see if we can get up to 50.
There will be plenty more than that.
Maybe we'll see.
There's like 200 girls ready to go.
No, there's not. There's not that many. There's only 40.
180. Oh my god!
No,
I'm
there's
sorry.
not. There's 80.
We've only started pairing like
I
80 of
know.
them, not 120. Hopefully.
No, there's a total of about 110, 15 that are breeder size females. But
And are you guys strictly just ball pythons? Well, I
Yeah, we
know
have-
you touched some other stuff, but like as far as snakes, are you just ball pythons?
for
Right now.
snake wise,
Yeah.
she has some Leachianus geckos, and we have saltwater aquariums.
Yeah.
Okay. And with the lychees, are you focusing on different? I don't know how it works. Is it localities for Leachianus, or is it?
Yeah, so both. So I'm not locale specific. Like I don't care. I breed them together to make them look pretty. So I find one that I really like the pattern and another one I really like the pattern, kind of like we do snakes. But it's more like corn snakes or crusties or leopard like it's not like morphs. Like it's more
Yeah, it's more of a locality, and then that locality provides.
And it's
polygenic.
well, it's each locale has specific traits. And so like I actually mix the locales to get up different traits. So sorry. Uh-huh.
That's staying up the rest of the podcast just for you, Chris.
I'm like, stop it,
She's important now, Chris.
stop
Yeah.
it, Chris.
Chris, it's like blowing it up.
That's so it's
And-
you have polymorphism in the Leachianus based off of the locality, or is it
Polygenics. Yeah.
or
So
polygenic?
like so yeah. So some of the locales have a higher pattern, some of them have more color.
darker
just
base
naturally,
colors.
or darker colors, their size. Like some of the little cows are bigger, like the mainland ones are bigger typically. So like, but they also tend to be a little grumpier. So if you like crossbreed them, sometimes that helps. And kind of like
So
research.
it's kind of like everyone thinks with pit bulls, and then you have a bunch of pit bull mixes, and they're all nice regardless. But
No, I mean, it's not quite that extreme. I don't think I'll pit bull. Like,
well,
mixes.
what's a little love bite every now and then? It's okay.
Yeah, no.
I mean, are the males worse?
And the lychees? No, females.
Well, females are only worse to the males. Like I think that the males tend to be a little. To me, they tend to be a little.
The only one that's ever bit me
grumpy.
was a female,
But she wasn't trying to bite you.
and she tasted a hunk of my leg.
But she wasn't really trying to bite him.
I had the teeth marks on my leg for a month. Beg to differ.
She was licking his leg, and the hair from his leg was like tickling her mouth, and so she like just bit down like that. It was really soft.
It was really soft. Really? There was a mark on my leg for a month.
She didn't mean it. She was sweet. She didn't mean it. She would never bite anyone out of anger. I can't even imagine that.
Well, I didn't say she was angry, but she meant to bite me because she bit the shit out of me.
Okay.
So lychees, and then you have ball pythons, and then you said you have saltwater tanks?
Yes.
And I guess technically we have a tarantula and a leopard tortoise. The leopard tortoise is
breeding.
at summer camp.
He's in a brothel.
Yeah, he's hanging out with
Good
Carl.
for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a tarantula too, but I'm scared of her, so I just feed her. And
why are you scared of her?
Because I don't like spiders.
Was it a US ARK pickup, or was it just a friend like buying it, or?
No, I bought it so that I could like get used to it, so I could like overcome my own fear of them. And I don't mind her. Like I can walk by her cage and not freak out. But I had nightmares the first night she was in the house, like full on. It was awful. I struggled, but she's been here like 3 years. I haven't killed her, so I'm good.
Doing good. My wife's like deathly scared of little spiders. She loves tarantulas. She loves tarantulas, but she's deathly scared of little spiders. Like you could roll up a string and throw it at her, and if it looks like kind of like strings hanging off, look like legs, she'll lose it and take off running.
She threw her kid at a scorpion.
I'm such a terrible mother.
Yeah.
I locked him in the bathroom with a scorpion.
Yep. Throws him in there, shuts the door, and runs away.
I saw it, and I like shoved him in the bathroom and closed the door. And I was like, you have to kill it. And he's like screaming because he's a child.
I mean,
he did it.
He was 12-ish, 13.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think he was that old.
I think he was.
I'm a terrible mother, y'all. Like terrible.
Well, whatever.
Well, I mean, maybe for the kids at home, but all the kids in the reptile community, I think you do a pretty good job. When you were growing up, was this something you think you ever thought of? Like, did you think you would surround yourself with reptiles at all?
No,
not in any way.
So what was your thing when you were
nothing like it was supposed to be, like at all?
What was y'all's thing when you were growing up? Because I know you came from a family of mostly boys, right, Jack?
I came from what?
Boys.
I had a brother and a sister.
Okay.
Like I played sports since time I was 4 until I was 18 or so. And then went to work. So
I went to school. That's pretty much all I did. I was really boring.
Well, I did a whole lot of stuff, but probably don't want to talk about it in public. So.
What sports were you doing?
Pretty much everything. So,
Well,
so I mean,
Were
I
you
played
cheerleader?
hockey.
Well.
Yeah,
all the Southern sports. How's that?
he played baseball, football, soccer, and basketball, sort of,
And I did track
and
stuff
track.
and powerlifting.
Yeah, I don't know how I forgot powerlifting.
And
He went to state for powerlifting.
hunting, fishing, just kid in the country stuff, basically.
We like to fish.
Building forts in the woods.
How'd you get to know the stuff with the bulls? Because it was you that set off Miguel, right?
No, Miguel did that to himself.
Miguel asked for it.
Miguel called JT and told JT he wanted to ride a bull. And JT thought he meant a mechanical bull. So I was like, yeah, you can just go to
Billy Bob.
Billy Bob's or whatever and get on a mechanical bull. Supposedly Miguel said, no, I want to get on a real bull. Well, so JT calls me. 15 minutes later, I called JT back. We call Miguel and merge the call or whatever. And like, here, you want to get on a bull? Yeah, I want to get on a bull, like a real one. Yeah. Okay. Well, I got it all set up. We're going at this time on this date. What? Really?
He panicked.
Oh, yeah. You said you wanted to ride a bull, right? It's already done. Got you all taken care of. Oh, yeah, that'll be great. So, yeah, he got on the bull though.
He did get on the bull. And I was upset that I didn't get on the bull, so I went next time.
Yeah. So the girls went next time.
Yep. And Maria, shout out to Maria.
And
So
Hannah.
was that just a hey Yellow Pages thing, like spur of the
No,
moment?
No.
Or
So it's
We live in like we knew where the rodeo was.
yeah. So this place they supply bulls for the smaller rodeos around the area, and they also do training for like high school and just rodeo training bulls. And Sundays and Wednesdays, I think, is the high school training days. And that's what we got them on, was the high school, the training bulls.
We were like, it's fine, Miguel. They're just training bulls.
Yeah.
they're only like 1,200 pounds. It's
Yeah.
not-
Yeah,
12, 1,500
they're baby
pounds.
bulls. It's okay. They're only
They
like
are.
2 years
That's
old.
what we told them. They're baby
Well,
bulls.
and the funny thing is, Jared Smith's driving them out there, and they pull into because you have to go through the pasture, and the big bulls
The
are
breeders.
at the front, because they're grazing
They're massive.
after working,
They were so
and
big.
they start losing it because they're like, we're not getting on that. We're not getting on those. I'm like, no,
No,
those
they're
are the big
little
ones.
ones.
You're getting on
You're
the
getting on the
little ones
baby
over
ones.
here. So,
I mean,
Yeah.
it
was
It
fun.
was pretty good.
I could feel it. I've been chased by a couple of ours at the ranch, and it's not a pleasant day when it happens. I had to hide under our 250 one time because I couldn't get into it in time. And he's sitting there and like rubbing his head against the 250 and lifting it up off the tires. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna die today.
Goats, big, like the big goats, the redheads, and some of the bigger goats are just as bad. Like I had a goat cave in the entire door of my truck, like cave it completely in. Not fun.
Have you ever seen a Brahma jump?
I have.
It is a very weird sight, and it's kind of scary. Like our fences, I think we're 5 strand, so it's about 4.5 feet up.
Yeah.
And just to see a bull that weighs 2,000 plus pounds clear that in like no running start, no nothing. Just I want to get to those cows.
Yeah, they're strong animals. They're very, very strong animals.
I said, did you eat goat for dinner? No, his dad wouldn't let him kill it.
No, I did split its head open with a fence post, though.
And it didn't care.
No,
It just walked off like nothing happened.
No, yeah.
It's crazy.
It was a Billy, obviously. He thought he was the boss.
He was mad because the coyotes got like
No,
all
that was the sheep. That was the
the
ram.
ram.
He was mad because I wasn't feeding him fast enough. Because I hadn't even gotten out of the truck. So
That's funny. So your dad has a ranch, or
I mean, not like a ranch. We had just a little farm, 13 acres that had some goats on it, and We had
just little.
2 cows, maybe a horse every, and like a ram and 2 or 3 ewes and random stuff. So, but like nothing crazy. I mean, not like a herd or anything. Just a few. They were mostly there for the underbrush, just to keep stuff eat up.
Right. No, that makes sense. I need one of those in my backyard right now, but I think the city would be pissed off.
They stink. Yeah.
I know. I need a goat just for like 2 days. It'll mow down everything in my backyard so I can get it set for spring.
We'll get a tortoise.
Yeah, borrow somebody's sulcata.
Yeah, tortoise will just
mow
it down.
They live way too long.
Yeah, but you just borrow one. Say, hey, can I feed your tortoise?
Well, then you
can
just
bring it.
Let me feed your tortoise and let it. Well, we got like those concrete walls. Like, my luck, it would go to like the base of the concrete walls and just bust through it, and like all the neighbors would be pissed off, and like the people behind me, if it busted through that one, their dogs would die. Like, they got these little like Yorkies and stuff like that running in the backyard all the time that just yip constantly. The tortoise would just fall on them, or the wall would fall on them, one of the two, and then it would just be a bad idea. I wanted one for a long time. I ended up I bought a baby sulcata, and then I realized what I did wrong, and I took it to a pet shop here, which wasn't the smartest thing, but this is when I first got into reptiles. It was like, well, I got little kids, and one, they can't take care of it right now, and I'm not old, but I'm not young, and it's definitely going to outlive me by like 100+ years. So I don't even know if my kids would be into reptiles come that time when I have to hand it over. So it's just something that lives that long. It's just not feasible for my family.
But we're all going to be outlived by something.
Yep. Didn't worry about it too much.
I mean, I'll eventually be outlived by some of the snakes I produce, but
right.
We went with a leopard tortoise, so we didn't have to deal with how big. Like sulcatas are just too big
and destructive. I think my favorite meme for tortoises is the sulcata coming through the wall.
Right.
Like, hey, you guys.
Yeah. They'll tear up anything they can.
But so you're essentially at 50 clutches a year now that we went down a long winding road there. Almost. It's okay. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to hit that marker this year, Jack.
Hope so.
You're a pretty determined guy most of the time, I'd like to believe.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's a one track. It is all snakes all the time. He's just sitting there thinking about things, and you ask him what he's thinking about, snakes. That's pretty much it. Snakes or food.
I like food.
And you like snakes.
I like snakes too.
Jack's easy.
I am easy.
Well, I mean,
he's easy. He's easy in every respect of the word. Like
$2 on Saturday night, you're good to go.
He's easy.
Easy.
No matter what.
I didn't even have to do that. I just had to put a camera on him for a second. I mean,
whatever.
So one of the things I really appreciate about y'all is you're pretty avid supporters of the entire community as a whole. You're always there to help people, to teach people, but you're also a huge supporter of US ARK. And one of the things that you do that not everybody does is you take a portion of your sales throughout the year and you donate it to them, which I think is an outstanding thing, especially in times like this. You want to talk a little bit about that and what I know Jack's going to say it like super simple, like, oh, they take care of us, so we need to give back. There, I took Jack's words out of his. I'm a bad.
There
host.
you go. You said it.
But what made you guys decide to donate the amount that you do? And because obviously it grows every year as you guys are growing.
Yeah.
Well, so we do a percentage, right? So if we don't have good sales, then we're not stuck on just a certain number. And the better we do, the more we can help.
Right.
So it all goes around. It's cyclical. So it's not just one thing. But a monetary donation is one thing. But I mean, there's other ways of helping out and donating. People donate to the auctions or bid on stuff at the auctions if they don't donate. I mean, it all goes there. It all goes to US ARK, regardless of how it gets there.
And even just sharing awareness, sharing posts, sharing what's going on with US ARK and what's going on in the community in general. Like, that's the easiest way to help support. Like, it doesn't cost you anything to share a post.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly. And I think, it's the time. Like, monetary is nice. I don't think you should be in the industry if you're not willing to be a member, but that's just me.
Well, so just buying a membership doesn't. That's like what what's $50 or $20 or something.
$40 for the bronze, I think. Which is
but at the end of the day, just doing that and nothing else, just so you can say you're a member, doesn't mean anything.
Right. I agree with that.
It does, but if you're not a member and you bid or donate $2,000 or $3,000 or $10,000 at an auction, but you don't have a sticker saying you're a member, there's why jump on somebody that doesn't have a sticker that says they're a member?
Well, it's not even the sticker in my eyes. My eyes is when you get to those levels in the bureaucratic system, they look at membership numbers.
Oh no,
and that's why
I understand that, but I just don't understand getting on people or complaining like if they're not a member. So somebody like Bob, if he wasn't a member, Bob Vu,
right.
but he donates to the auctions and he spends money at the auctions more than any of the membership levels are. Or somebody like Miguel that bids on stuff at the auction way higher than any of the membership levels. So at the end of the day, for him, somebody like that, the membership level doesn't equal out to what he donates. So,
but I think it's a matter of signing up for it, though, of being on the list saying that I'm a supporter and that I'm a voting member of society and my name is attached to this. And so, like, I should have some say.
And that's the way I look.
I just don't get, I don't care for the people beating on others or griping at other people because they don't see their name on a list. Right.
And it can get out of hand. Like, I'm not going to say, hey, I'm not going to support you. Like, I might not support you monetarily. I'll share your stuff or I'll support your business and other means, like promote you or do whatever. But like, that's just a personal thing. Like, I know that if I buy from you, a portion of that's going back to US ARK. I know every time someone buys from me that I'm donating that dollar, plus I have my membership, plus every auction I end up dropping hundreds to, I don't think I've broken the $2,000 limit at an auction yet, but I know I've gone well over
$1,000 at an auction one night.
Well, usually my wife
gave it
all away
and gave
I don't
all
have anything from it.
All of the stuff that she bid on when she gave to other people. So
it was terrible.
But that's
like I said, at the end of the day, we're all in a hobby or business or industry. You can choose to support the people that keep us able to do it or not at the end of the day. I mean, and you choose where your money goes. So, and we choose that a percentage of our sales go to US ARK and to the Herps Family Foundation. So it helps the group as a whole with US ARK, and it helps individuals that have had tragedies or whatever with the Herps Family Foundation. So,
and are you guys on that board, or is that just JT?
There is a board. They're still so Sean is still working on finalizing some of the paperwork, but there will be a board and all that kind of stuff when all the paperwork is finalized and everything's completed. I think they're still waiting on, I don't know all the form numbers or whatever.
Right.
So
Yeah,
They're waiting on
it's
the
exciting to
extension.
set up the 501c and all that
Yeah.
good stuff. Yeah.
yeah, so it's all filed. They're just waiting on it to finalize or whatever.
That's good stuff. You guys, I know Maria jumps into it, but it seems like the Texas Mafia, whenever someone has an issue, you guys are at the forefront of that helping. Like there's a group made within an hour usually of an incident happening to somebody in the industry. And there's auction items within, I think, like 12 hours. Usually you just got to figure out the format that you're going to do it in.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I think that stuff just kind of happens. Like it just kind of evolved. I mean, so it really started with Chase, right? Patton, trying to help him through the stuff that he was going through. And then JT's house burned down. So that's kind of how we got involved in it. I mean, he's one of our best friends and we love him and we wanted to do everything that we could to help him. And so we were actually all in the car. It was us and Mike and Maria and Carl. And we were like, this is what we're going to do. And it just kind of lived on after that, I think.
Yeah. We do it. I mean, you do
so
it.
we do it just whenever someone needs help.
Yeah.
So
what we can when we're able.
And different people wind up managing it. Like it's not necessarily the same people every time.
Right.
But.
I don't know. I just essentially want to bring a light to that. I don't know if people pay attention to it. And I know you guys don't need the pat on your back. Like you guys do what you do out of the goodness of your heart. But I'm giving you the pat on the back. When I see Jack next weekend, I'll give him the pat on the butt for it. I'll give him a nice little good game. But
just make sure you keep it even, left and right side.
Okay. That's a lot of ass to take care of, though.
You better have big hands, buddy.
My wife thinks I do.
Stretch your arms out so they look bigger. Was it imposed? Suppose what's it called? The picture things. What's it called? Whatever. Just laugh at me because
he was talking about something other than snakes for once, and you gave him a hard time. There you go.
Oh, no,
now we know why he only talks about
fishing pictures.
No,
that's what he's talking about.
The pictures
he's talking about
where people hold it way out here.
Stick it out so it looks like it's a
so it looks
3-foot fish instead of a 6-inch fish.
Yeah.
Yep. Perspective.
Speaking of, I think you have one of those pictures, don't you?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact.
Did you do that?
She did.
I did.
I helped.
He wasn't holding it out.
She resized the fish?
No.
Nope. That was actually six-ish, 6.5 pounds. So I mean, not huge, but not little.
No, it's a good size.
Yeah.
What do you guys do outside of reptiles?
Work.
So it's work, reptiles, eat, sleep?
Yes.
We watch shows sometimes. I knit sometimes. I do a podcast now. That takes a lot of time. So
it's a lot more difficult than some people think. Like I'm not even at that level. Like I could call this a podcast, I suppose. I would like to call it a podcast, but it's not. It's definitely not set up as one yet.
Then what is it?
I can't even. I don't know what it is. It's interviews. It's me wasting people's time, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to believe it is. I haven't figured out. Well, I've put it on there, but my former interviews haven't been accepted into like Spotify or Apple Podcasts or stuff yet. It's still under the review process. So I don't really consider myself that, and like I don't work through like a tech board or I don't really edit anything. Like what you get right now, like these long pauses and shit are gonna be in the Apple Podcast because I'm just awkward like that and fuck it. I hope my dad's not watching. I got chewed out by my dad for the last podcast ish, whatever you want to call it, because I cursed entirely too much, and he tried to show my grandma, and she's a very Orthodox Christian. She's like, "Oh, I don't want to watch that."
Yeah.
He made me aware of how much I curse.
I curse a lot when I'm not on camera.
Mhm.
And then when I'm on camera, like no.
She's definitely got a sailor potty mouth.
Oh, I'm terrible.
But not as bad as Mike.
No, not as bad as Mike.
So what gave you the itch to start in blue?
So actually Rachel asked me. And I freaked out for a while, and I wouldn't answer her for a while. And then all my mafia like crew talked me into it. So
I think it was a great thing.
That's how it started. And then we figured out the rest of it.
Nice. So how do you guys, now that I'm jumbling in, how do you guys decide your guests? Like, is it just, this is someone we would really like to talk to, or do you choose it based off of like, this is someone that could add essentially, or hopefully add value to the community and to us at the time? Or how do you guys choose your guests?
It's totally people that we want to talk to. Because at the end of the day, like if I don't want to talk to people, it's really going to suck. So it's people that I find interesting or want to get to know more, and Rachel too, obviously. But
no, I feel that. That's why I reached out to y'all, because we talk like maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the show twice a year. And I'm like, for how many times I've seen them and we spend weekends together, I don't know shit about them.
Well, there's not much to it. Go to work, go to the gym, come home, take care of animals.
We're
eat,
hopefully
go to bed, repeat.
We're hopefully about to have a new project to work on the weekends. We're in the process of.
That's a very long project.
We're in the process of buying some land and cleaning it up and getting ready to build a place. So
looking to go and build your own facility, or
our own house,
go commercial, or nice.
No, house, everything. Our new like retirement place.
Yeah, our forever
home.
So
I'm
ready.
What
I told my wife. I was like, when we move, like you better find the perfect thing. Like we could upgrade it throughout the years, but you better find like what you want to do, because I'm done moving. I'm getting too damn old to continuously be moving.
We found some like raw land.
Yeah,
it's never been built on.
No,
There's no.
It's never been cleared.
Yeah, you can barely walk through it.
It's beautiful.
It's
so pretty.
We walked through it, and I was like breaking trees down just to walk through it.
It's like amazing.
It was great. So,
and Chris is going to that.
I sent you that lumber snack joke, didn't I?
Yeah.
Were you thinking about that when he was snapping trees walking?
No. He doesn't have a beard.
It doesn't matter if he has. You don't have to be a lumberjack. Like you don't have to have a beard to be a lumberjack. So I sent her this thing that said, "What do you call a guy in flannel, or a hot guy in flannel? A lumber snack."
Okay.
I was like, "Is Jackie a lumber snack?"
Yeah.
Though I don't know if I've ever seen you wear flannel.
He doesn't own a long sleeve shirt.
Well, yeah, he's got like 24-inch arms. He'd rip every shirt that comes out.
He's always hot.
He just rolled his eyes.
He's always
I've
hot.
got insulation. I've got natural insulation. I
wasn't talking about the center. I'm not going to do that again because that was super tiny, and
that's just more insulation. They're just all flop. Well, I mean, look, it just flops around.
It's so full of crap.
That's funny. So, aiming for 50 this year. You're not sure what the big hitter is. What are what are some of your plans that you really want to work on as far as moving your projects forward, since it's at the beginning stage?
Well, obviously to make get some visuals that are out of some of the hets that we have, to make visuals instead of having hets.
Some more double visuals.
Some double visuals, some double hets, triple hets.
We have so many.
Yeah.
Like we literally go in there when it gets time for breeding season and we sit down and we write on the female tubs what males we're going to put with them. That's how we breed.
How long of a process is it to like read through all of your breeder females? Like, is it a day-long event? Is it like a whole weekend where you're like, okay, this is what I would want to pair?
No, we actually do it pretty quick.
Yeah. So, I mean, like you have different males at different times, as they're growing up, they're ready or they're not ready. So as males become ready, and then females is the same way. They're not all ready at the same time.
Right.
So as females become ready, which males do you want to put with it, and which ones are ready? You can't put even if you wanted to. I mean, you can, I guess, if you really wanted to. It wouldn't do any good to put shit together that's not ready. Right. So, I mean, even if
I'm going to assume that you not rely heavily, but you go off of just the ultrasounding then.
Ultrasounding and behavior.
Yeah, behavior too. Because you'll miss a lot.
Yeah, you can't.
If you don't watch behavior.
You can't do just one or the other.
No.
I mean, you can, I guess.
We did that one year and it didn't go very well.
Yeah.
Like we had way less production than we should have.
Oh, look. Hi, Corey.
Maria's on too somewhere.
Oh,
Maria.
Well, hi, Maria. And Derek. And Chris.
And Victor.
And Victor.
And James.
Hi, everyone.
My sister, James.
He said we're his favorite sisters.
Well, yeah. And he's my favorite sister.
So where's your aspiration to take this? Like, do you want to eventually be just full-time or?
Oh yeah, we don't want to have day jobs.
Yeah. I mean,
but we want everything paid for first.
Yeah.
Like the new house and like I don't want any bills before I retire. But we fully expect to get to that position, but to just have everything paid off and then we could just do snakes.
And sharks.
And sharks. We're gonna breed sharks too.
And I'm gonna do some.
You doing like you talking about like those little mini sharks that people make videos on, or you're looking for like legitimate sharks? I don't even know what they're called.
What are you calling a mini shark?
They're reef sharks. They're small. They're only 18 inches long.
So they're so you can't really keep pelagic sharks, right?
No, there's not enough
in
water.
Captivity. Like it just doesn't function. Like you can't keep great whites. I mean,
or makos or any of that. Hammerheads. You couldn't keep any of that stuff.
Some extremely large public aquariums they can keep some smaller sharks that are pelagic, like the white tips and black tips, and they can keep some of the bigger ones when they're younger. But I mean, you need tons and tons and tons of space for big sharks that are pelagic. Pelagic meaning they can't stop swimming, otherwise they would die.
They have to constantly have water over their gills, moving over their gills.
Where a lot of the reef, so the bamboo, the cat sharks, epaulets, and some nurse sharks can set stationary, and they pass water through their gills on their own. Yeah, so they don't have to continually move. So
okay,
yeah,
I learned something new today.
They're fun.
Yeah,
they're a lot of fun.
The freshwater things in fish stores that they call sharks are minnows. They're not actually sharks.
So this is going to show that I am failing as a husband and breeder.
What behaviors do you?
That's from my wife, because apparently I haven't taught her what to look for. But,
so what behaviors do you look for? In breeding females, you're looking for food aggression, cold seeking, that sort of thing. And really, that's the main two. Is when they're starting, you're looking for food aggression, which can be very extreme or somewhat subtle, and then cold seeking, which bowl wrapping is the same thing as cold seeking, staying at the front of the tub where away from the heat and
If
that
you
sort
run
of thing.
heat.
Yeah, if you run heat. And but with the cold seeking thing, you have to pay attention to where they are in the rack. If you run heat, because your bottom and top tubs won't always run the same as the middle, so they may be at the back, but that's still cooler than some of the middle tubs. So
It's just looking at them, checking their body. You can see them start to swell.
You're welcome.
And like fill out and that kind of stuff.
She's starting to become more involved, which I'm super
Good.
appreciative of and happy for. She liked to, like, her thing was just holding them while I cleaned them. Like, I would bathe them, get all their shit off of them from the week, right? And then be like, here you go, while I'm scrubbing the shit out of the tubs. But she's actually becoming more intrigued in it, and she's looking at starting little breeding pairs of Cresties now. So I'm excited that she's looking into her own thing now. Hopefully get her more involved in it.
You should bring her by and let her pick out some snakes this weekend. I bet she picks out some really pretty ones.
I bet you'll force some stuff that I'm going to be on a very long payment plan for.
I would not force anything.
Jack tricks me into buying snakes all the time. He shows me snakes I do not say no to all the time. He did it this weekend or last weekend.
I don't know what you're talking about.
See, I don't even do that. I just tell her, hey, I'm getting these. I'm sorry. And we're going to be on a payment plan for this long. So I have more babies to clean and more snakes to clean. I hope
if you enjoy it.
I kind of have an expensive
plan. As long as you keep up with it. I won't send the mafia after you. You're okay.
James asked if we're going to have our project stuff in Arlington.
I answered him in text.
Well, are we?
No.
Oh.
This in the fall.
Oh.
Oh, my wife.
Okay. Sorry.
I read that wrong.
What did you read?
My wife's thing. I thought she said you have an expensive eye, but she does have an expensive eye as well. She's actually the reason I got into Monarch.
Nice.
Like well, it wasn't for the look. She's like, oh, it looks cool, but she couldn't understand the price tag behind it. And she's never been bit by a snake. And that Monarch that I purchased bit her. That was her first ball python bite. So I was like, I'm buying that. And hopefully it continues. Because I get lit up by some of mine like constantly. But
I'll get bit every week.
It doesn't even matter to me anymore. Like the stuff you shouldn't be bit by, I'm very cautious with. But I should probably be a little bit more cautious with the non-venomous stuff. Just
so the ones
becomes the laziness, but
I don't have venomous.
Yeah, we don't have venomous. Those are all outside snakes.
Yeah, there's lots of them outside.
Yeah, like I'll get them out of like the neighbors' yards because we have rattlesnakes all around here. So, like the neighbors will come and I'll just take them out of the yards and then they go right up, down into the field or
somewhere away from everybody's dog.
That's where I did the opposite of that. I pulled from the field because I just wanted to run a couple months with one, and then I'll put it back where its den was because I found it not too far from a den, and it was right before it started getting real cold. So I'm assuming, but I'm gonna put it back where I found it at work. But one of my coworkers almost stepped on it. And it was so cold that it didn't buzz. It didn't do anything. It was just kind of holding still. And I was like, you see what's under you right now?
We had one, 3 or 4 weeks ago from the neighbors?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Up under her, porch. Her dogs found it. They told her where it was. They didn't go near it.
Right.
But
that's good.
Oh, yeah, look at James is trying to
he's
on the live stream. James, dude, calm down. Calm down, James. It'll be okay.
So that was actually my first go into the Texas Mafia was when James first produced the Joker and showed it at Arlington. I did
Yeah.
that whole video. Well, I did probably like a 30-second clip of a 5-minute video focused just on that snake. So that's a
good
gorgeous
one.
animal.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
is.
gorgeous animal.
We'll have some hopefully fun stuff for people to look at. So we had a really good year for like our trick stuff.
And hypos.
Yeah.
I have a ton of hypo and trick stuff.
Yeah. So
What
it was
do you
actually
feel? I'm not even going to bring that question.
Trick, Blitz, and Hurricane.
Yeah.
It's all the
Spelling.
same.
Spelling. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the difference between
Lesser and butter.
lesser and
Banana, coral glow, Mojave.
No, Mystic and Phantom.
Mystic and Phantom.
The way it. No, I'm just kidding. Nothing.
The way you spell it.
The way you spell it, maybe the way it pushes the same effect through a little differently, but it's essentially
Does
the
it?
same.
I mean, so like in
It'd be like if you look at a butter versus like a lesser or Mojave, it feels like you have a little bit different tone. Like it does the same thing, but the tones look a little bit different in my eyes.
but butter
and lesser.
butter and lesser, you're
Mojave's different.
then you're talking about more of a polygenic thing. If you're talking about just like a faint shade, and not necessarily the gene itself being different, right?
And what you see as butter or lesser, like if you have them labeled as butter and lesser in your collection, it may not have anything to do with the gene. Like the difference isn't to do with the gene; it's just to do with the animal that you had to start with.
Right.
So I mean, we've all
more versus a line breeding is what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you can take like pastels, one of the simplest thing, pastels everywhere, right? You've got good pastels and not so good pastels. You can take the same male and breed it to 3 different normal females and get 3 different grades of pastel, depending on just the overall pattern and darkness of the females, because that's the polygenics of it. If she's clean and bright, you're going to have cleaner and brighter offspring. Some of them will be, not all of them, but some. And then if she's darker and busier, you're going to have a chance to make darker and busier stuff, which for pastel is going to be not overly attractive, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Why'd you let me wait? I didn't like you brought it up. Sorry, this is the way my line works. I'm like an ADD kid. Although they said I don't have it, so squirrel, shiny object. We were talking about DG earlier and how you guys were like the source of DG in Texas for a while.
Not really the source.
We were just the first ones to like openly have them for sale, like visuals for sale in Texas. Like we bought some het females and
we traded actually.
Yeah, we traded.
Where or what got you guys to really focus on DG at that time? Like,
it's just
how far along was that? You're like, how far back was it?
That was probably 2014-ish when we got the animals as babies.
So we were probably producing them in 16,
15, 16.
16.
So it was 13.
It was like when the fiasco was going on between
Desert
and Desert Ghost, right?
Yes. So we were when everybody was confusing them, and we had to educate everyone in Texas.
I mean, since then,
That's what
obviously,
it felt like.
I mean, there's a lot of people that have a ton of them now.
Yeah, they're everywhere now.
Yeah,
that's I mean, it took me forever to get into the gene. I just got into it this past year, and that's potentially my first double recessive project that I'll be working if the female proves. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
DG what? Clown?
It'll be DG clowns. Yeah.
Nice.
So. And then I picked up. I went from nothing with DG into it to 3 females and 2 males.
Mm-hmm.
So just in
Yeah,
case one decides it doesn't want to do its job. But
Yeah, we can't keep females.
Yeah.
Like as soon as we produce them, they're gone really quick. So visuals or even hets are gone really quick.
I'm excited for it. I've seen them in person so many times, and I was just like, no, it's a yellow snake. It's a yellow snake. It's a yellow snake.
I love them.
I have a thing with yellow snakes.
Yeah.
I like the darker stuff. So it's like, oh, it's a real bright yellow snake. Like,
but
when someone
John,
just do something else, and then I started seeing other stuff added into it that was bringing like different hues out, and I was like,
so one of my favorites is our GHI DG female. She's just gorgeous. Like that's one of the best DG combinations we've had.
The black pastel spot nose is pretty good
that
too.
one's pretty too. They're all pretty.
Yeah.
it's a gorgeous gene as you watch it grow. Like I didn't give it the credit that it was due, because I've seen like most of the stuff I saw was young, before it really starts to color up. Like people will get a couple meals into it, put it out at a show, and it's like it's a bright yellow snake, but it's not, oh my god, I gotta have this.
Well, it's not even bright as a baby. It doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't.
Like sometimes you can't even
It's
tell.
almost golden as a baby. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like really with Desert Ghost, it needs to be a good 500 plus grams before it really starts to shine. Like the babies look nice, but it doesn't really start to shine until 500-700 grams. So.
And we almost put too many genes in them too. Like it's really bad about washing out if you stack too many genes together. Like it's much better to keep that gene super simple. Like 2, maybe 3 genes, the right genes.
Yeah.
Not 9 genes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. No.
That's how it works.
It
doesn't have to be the prettiest snake in your rack sometimes.
Nope.
But I should at least know what it is.
The potential of what
I should be able to tell what it is.
Where's the fun in that?
Oh, heavens.
You got to prove it out sometimes.
Right.
Oh, no. No.
See?
We're just like, this is the minimum of what we think is in it. That's what we're selling it for.
Yeah, there's a few that
it's crazy.
There's a lot going on. So
white snakes with no reason to have white snakes. There's just that many genes stacked on top of each other that they're just white
that's
snakes.
one of the things that I think
those
was
didn't
crazy.
really work out real well.
No.
When you started getting, what was it? Like once you started pushing like 6 genes into snakes, it seemed like everyone was hitting nothing but white snakes for a while once you got to that point. And then you finally start getting some contrast from some people like Justin or others. It seems like everyone's kind of followed, which I understand. But it's weird how like some of them will completely wash out an animal and then one simple gene will bring everything back.
Oh, absolutely.
It's crazy to me. Like I can't wrap my head around it, but I think it's cool.
Like I'm not big on champagne, but blackhead champagnes are gorgeous. Like bringing all that pattern back into them, and it gives them like that smoky, like bubbly look, and I love them. I don't want one because it's champagne, and what am I gonna do after that? But I like just that plain basic combo. Nice and simple.
So where do you think? Do you guys look at like eventually having multiple employees in a whole facility, or do you think you're going to keep it to where it's just you two?
Yeah.
We may have somebody do rats.
Yeah, maybe one other person,
but
to do things to help out with stuff, but not big. Like we don't want to get huge.
What do you think the max out point for y'all will be?
Probably
100 clutches and we're done.
150.
100 clutches and we're done.
200.
200.
No, that's too many.
That's a lot.
200's a lot. 100.
But between 100 and 150 should be plenty. So, because if you're averaging 7 eggs a clutch. 100. That's
a lot.
700 babies. I mean,
That's a lot.
100, 150 is 1,000 plus
a
babies.
whole week's work just there.
So,
well, the way I move,
No.
I don't know. My first year, I kind of got a taste for it my first year, and I was like, oh, fuck. I didn't realize how long cleaning babies and getting babies to eat would actually take, and it was surprising, but it was fun at the same time. Like, always down for a challenge. And now I look at my wife and to my buddy that comes over, because I got a few back issues, so the lower ones kind of mess with me, or like when I'm scooping up stuff, my back will like tighten up a little bit, and I'll be hating myself the next day. But I got to the point where it was like, okay, I got to race myself. Like, I did all of them in this amount of time total. I got to beat that, or I want to average this long per tub or something like that, like trying to make myself faster, move better.
Oh, see, I don't do any of that. I just work. I just go. Like, it takes.
I gotta create a game out of it, man. Like, I don't like working in any shape, way, or form. Like, I gotta make, like, I gotta trick my own mind that it's a game, or that like I'm competing against my friend or myself or something.
I've been working since I was 13, so it's just work.
I've had to do since I got my. I don't know if it was my phone. Yeah, I think it was my first phone. My mom was like, you can't have a phone unless you could pay for it yourself. So the day I turned 15 and could get them to sign something and say, hey, you're allowed to work, was the day I went to work. So I could have my phone, and then I could pay for a truck. And
I was driving tractors in a field when I was 13, or hay trucks with trailers full of hay down the road or whatever at 13. So
get away with it.
Building fences, throwing hay, whatever.
I mean, I was like doing little stuff, like mowing lawns in the area, or like
that was like
doing odd end jobs every now and then. But there's just like, I grew up in a town where the main source of income there is either you're in the military or you're a drug dealer. So
nice choice.
Lots of choices there.
The mowing the yards thing, like 9, 10 years old. Me and my little brother. That was 9 and 10 years old doing that stuff.
He used to be an umpire when he was in school.
Yeah.
Like, he used to umpire little kids' little league games.
Yep. For a little bit.
I think that's adorable. I don't know why, but
it's work.
Yeah, but you were in school still.
Yeah.
I think it's sweet.
Okay.
So how many hours do you guys think you put in a week right now? Between the animals and like setting up, because morph market has to take forever. Your guys' morph market has like, what is it, 75 animals right now?
Yeah, there's
72, 75.
So, like, what do you mean, just snakes, or do you mean like work?
When you're going through? Well, I mean, towards Southern Star, how many hours do you think you're throwing? Because this is something I talk about in all my business classes all the time. Is like if you want to really start something, you have to devote X amount of time when it's first starting out, or you devote X amount of time towards like marketing of that product or whatever, and it's something that we always argue about in class. So I'm just curious that like at
probably
you're what, 10 years, over 10 years in?
So not counting shows,
right about 10.
Not counting shows, probably 30 hours for me.
And I don't spend that much time.
No, but
you
still probably spend.
I still probably
15 to 20 total for a week. So,
and that's with you guys working rats, or is that just snakes?
That's counting rats.
Yeah, I mean, we have to supplement rats. We don't have enough space to have enough rats to feed. So our rat bill is getting up there.
Like I can breed enough rats
Oh.
to feed my holdback stuff,
Hold back babies.
babies. But once they're up to weaned rats, I have very few that make it to weaned. As far as like what I produce, most of my rats don't live long enough to become weaned. Most of them get fed
Pups.
at crawlers and pups. So
Okay. What's your? Because I know everyone does it a little bit different. Like I know people that they'll feed the recommended size until they're to smalls, and then they'll only feed smalls. I know some people that feed. I think it's pups or a little. Yeah, or no, not pups. I'm sorry. Weaned, like every couple of days, even to their breeders. Because they're like, oh, it puts no stress on it. So what's your rat schedule? Like, is it once
weaned
a
and
week?
small, once a week,
Yeah, just
once a week, and I feed weans and smalls, smaller males. They seem to process the food quicker, smaller males, and they seem to put more of it to use. And they also seem to continue to eat more regular than big males. So I mean, because after Thanksgiving dinner, you don't or lunch. If you eat Thanksgiving dinner stuff at 2:00, you're not going to eat again.
You get lunch on Thanksgiving?
Well, that's usually it, right?
You're lucky. We're usually cooking so much we don't even get lunch. We're like, oh, we have breakfast. Oh, it's dinner time. It's like 3:00. It's dinner time. We're gonna be eating for the next 2 hours.
I just eat when I'm hungry. I don't care what day it is. So. But
he's not gonna wait on anybody.
No. If you're here, you can have some. If you're late, you can have what's left. But I mean, after a big meal, it just slows everything down. It's metabolism. It's metabolism in general. Any animals, bigger males metabolize slower, smaller males metabolize faster. So,
I think you kind of find more problems with that too when you try going up to the bigger meals. Because I know for a little while I was like, oh, they're breeders. They're like 2,000 plus grams. Let me give them a smaller medium, right? And I started seeing like a little bit more, not necessarily like full out health issues, but they just didn't seem to react the same way.
mm-hmm.
You know, it was like they were extremely sluggish for a long time versus searching around. They didn't want to breed, things like that. So
I mean, I've got 44 to 5,000 gram girls, and they get weaned or smalls. They're offered every week. Some of them would like to have more than one, but I generally just feed them one a week, and they eat most every week. So they breed, they put weight back on just fine, and I mean, they're big girls, but I don't think they're necessarily roly would be a word.
Yeah, they're not round.
Well, they're round-ish, but I mean, they're not supposed to be completely round.
Yeah, they're not like that.
Yeah, but
they're big though.
They're big.
So, with having that much time in the industry, what do you think your biggest learning point has been so far? Like, what was the biggest obstacle you guys have had to overcome so far?
Talking to people.
Yeah, probably.
It's hard.
It's super hard.
It is.
You've just been doing it for like an hour and 20 minutes.
Well, it gets emotionally exhausting, right?
Right.
Like
I understand.
Yeah, because my day job is I work by myself. I don't work with anybody, or if I do, it's very rarely. So I'm pretty much by myself. I don't have to worry about talking to very many people. And then it's something like a show. It's hundreds and hundreds of people, and it's very emotionally draining. So yeah.
It's also learning and keeping an open mind about things, and then learning to teach other people. Because when people started asking us questions, we were like, "Wait, how did we get to be the people that people started asking questions
right.
of?" So that was really awkward and weird for us for a while.
So you learn more or just as much by teaching as you do as a student, essentially, or beginner or whatever. Like when we got to the magic point where it was just, I don't even know how it happened, where people were coming to us and hanging around and asking questions.
It was at like 5-6 years in.
Probably 6.
Yeah.
Just in the last 2 to 3 years, it's really been there where we're almost like the mentors now and not the people learning. But
we don't have a clue still.
But we're learning just as much now as we were before that. And that's the biggest thing is don't stop learning. Whatever you're doing, whether it's snakes and reptiles or life or just whatever it is you're doing, don't stop learning. So
what's one piece of advice you would give to someone looking to get in, or like what do you think is the most important piece of advice? Because you hear the same, I'm not going to say shit, but essentially you hear the same stuff going out to the newbies over and over, and they're like, hey, buy females this way, buy males when they're already partially grown, or
don't buy animals if you don't want them. Like if you're not genuinely interested in the animals, don't buy them. Like don't try to start a business with an animal that you don't genuinely care about, because you're not going to enjoy it. They're going to suffer. Like just don't.
So number one, don't think you have to breed them just because you want more than one. If you want 10 pets, have 10 pets. You don't have to breed those. You don't have to buy all females and males. You can buy all. You can have a whole collection of male ball pythons if that's what you want. Yeah, don't think just because you have more than one, you have to breed them. Yeah. There's tons of people that have 2 dogs and never breed dogs. I mean, or 10 dogs and never breed dogs. So that's one thing. Don't think you have to breed them. And business-wise, don't expect to actually make any money for several years. Like a long time. Like several years. Unless you start, if you want to make $1 million, start with $1 billion.
Nope. Yeah. The patience game in this is insane.
It's a long-term investment.
Which is why
it's not short term. It's why you have to really love the animals. Like you have to really enjoy working with them. Right. So that's my best advice. Make sure you enjoy working with whatever animal it is that you're working with. Mm-hmm. If you don't like it, don't keep it. Don't try to make that a business. And don't make it a business if you don't actually want to do it. Exactly. Like you can have pets. You can leave it a hobby.
I think a lot of people just see it as the new fad, and that's the issue. Mm-hmm. It's like they come in and they're not exactly exposed to that side of it right away. Mm-hmm. They go to like PetSmart or they go to their local exotic store and they pick up 1 or 2, and then they hear about a reptile show and it's not what they think it is. They're like, oh, I'm going to see all these animals in cages, and it's going to be like a petting zoo, essentially. Like we had our first reptile show in El Paso in the last 10 years back in December. And I had a friend that came all the way out from California to vend it. I felt really bad for them, but I ended up picking up a lot because I was like, you're not going to travel all this way. And like, it's stuff I wanted in my collection anyways. So it worked out, but like that was the general consensus, was that people thought it was more of a petting zoo versus, I'm going there to buy animals, or I'm going there to invest in my business or something like that.
Right. So
You know.
a new area, a show for shows, a new area is always like that. Always.
It usually takes 4 shows
Mhm.
before you really start to see whether that show is going to be any good or not.
Well,
Like
and
what
then
the
on top of that, I guess it was Mickey from Show Me Snakes,
Okay.
and he reached out to a lady here locally, and she was supposed to do like the radio commercials, and supposed to set up a commercial with the local or uh, TV news stations and stuff like that, and like print out flyers and get them out. And I guess she just took that check. I don't know what she did with it because none of that crap happened. But
Oh, wow.
so I was talking to him at the show. I was like, "So what happened?" Because like we knew about it, the people that breed here, because we have a little group of like local breeders. There's only about, well, I mean, there's more than 10 or 12, but as far as ball pythons, there's like 10 of us.
Hmm.
Like you have your venomous people here, you have like carpets and stuff like that, but they kind of disassociate from the other reptile people. Like it's okay, this is what I like. I don't want to talk about
Anything
your
else?
reptiles. Like if I'm a carpet guy, if you have ball pythons, stay the hell away from me, type thing, and it's,
Oh, yeah.
but they're old school. Like the people that specialize in stuff like that are a little bit up there. Like they're in their 50s, maybe high or late 50s, and they like what they like, and they don't want to.
Yeah.
They want their corner of the world and just to do their thing, and it's cool.
Yeah. Just I want to do my thing. Just leave me alone. Let me do my deal. I completely understand.
And I'm really hoping it'll get better. Like I talked to Mickey and I was like, "Hey man, just here's my email." Like I gave him my card, and I stay in contact with him now. Like when it comes time, because we're gonna have another one the beginning of April, and I was like, a couple weeks out, if you want to hit me up, send me the money. I'll freaking go to whatever and get flyers printed. Like I'll actually work for you while I'm here to make sure this grows, because I want to make sure my friends that are still here have the opportunity to grow. Like,
Yeah.
Like I'm only going to get to vend one show here, hopefully. Well, fingers crossed if everything works, and hopefully by summer we'll be up there at Fort Worth full time. So, but
Okay.
I'll get one more show, and I was like, I'll put everything I can into it, and then I'll leave you a contact to continue the process. Just like so, I grew my rats way beyond what I needed for my collection, thanks to Chris, because he saved me when I lost all my rats, and he let me get some stuff from him and restart up. And I've brought in a little bit new blood since then. But
I think they lost a lot of stuff last year during the freeze.
yeah, so they lost a lot during the freeze. They came back, and then the heat from this summer, like I had fans going, I had ACs going, and for some reason it just was not working. And I lost all but like 2 females and a male, so I couldn't even feed my collection. And I hit up Chris, and he's like, "Yeah, drive down." So I made the 4-hour trip there and back, and then I had to wait it out, and I was paying like, I think it was like $200 or $300 a week to the local stores, because all the local stores were like real low on rats too. So they're hiking up the prices like we always see, right? And so I was paying like excessively for my collection, because my collection is not very big. But then I got it back, and I created like a little account with our local pet stores, and was like, "Well, I know your guys aren't giving you enough rats. That's why you're hiking the price up. So I don't know what you're going to do to the price, but let me start selling rats to you, make some of my money back from you."
There you go.
And then I talked to my friends. I was like, "Hey, when I leave, I'm not taking the rats. Like I'm not moving rats 10 hours. It's just not logical." So I was like, "Hey, you can have the racks. You can have all this. I should make enough from it to pick up one of the professional rodent breeder racks, which is more than enough for my collection once I fill it, And then the big cheese is literally right there. So while I'm getting my own stuff going again, I'll have some way to bring in rodents.
Yeah, that's where we go every couple weeks. So.
Yep. Yeah, the drive will be about the same for us to Big Cheese as it will be for you living up if you're in North Fort Worth.
Yeah.
So
where are you guys out of? I don't know.
We're in Midlothian. We're just south of Dallas.
Yeah, it's about 30 minutes south of. It's 30 minutes to Fort Worth or Dallas.
Yeah.
But
so you're like literally at home when you're at Arlington. That's nice. This is a quick drive.
Yes. Yeah, Arlington's our home show.
Yeah,
and we're only like 20 minutes from the Arlington show.
Yeah.
Nice. I can't wait for that day when I can like be at one of the major shows and sleep in my own bed.
Yeah, and then we're buying land and trying to move somewhere where that's not.
And it won't be.
That's not going to happen.
No, it's in the middle of nowhere.
No, it's an hour and a half. It's an hour and a half from here. So
it's an hour and a half from any show, at least 2 hours from a show.
Yeah. Conroe maybe. It'll probably still be 2 hours.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours from any show now, or will be.
Yeah.
But to have your piece, I think it's well worth it. Like the reason I'm looking at that Azel is literally for that. I was like, I'm so tired of the city. I'm tired of hearing my neighbors. I'm tired of being told I can't have chickens and I can't do this and I can't do that. Like I just want to be out in the country and do whatever I want.
Comparatively, Azel would still be considered the city compared to where we're going.
Right. So, well, I mean, yeah. But I'm looking at lots of land that are like 5 to 7 acres or more.
Yeah.
Just like stuff where there's no one around. So instead of having a neighbor 6 feet in each direction of my house.
Yeah, we found 18 acres. So
nice.
And the backside of it is a
tree farm
nursery
for like 5,000 acres.
Yeah, it's huge. And the other,
it's fabulous.
And then on one side is like a little cattle area, and then there's nobody for 20 acres on the other side before you get to another person. Yeah,
it's great.
So.
Until you get all the rowdy Texas reptile people.
They won't go. It's too far.
Yeah, nobody will visit.
Have you met me? I drive 10 hours regularly. Like my closest people that I travel to are like 3 hours away from me.
We'll be closer to Sydney, Mary.
Whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah, she's in.
She's on that side. Yeah, she's out in Terrell.
It'll still be an hour past that. It's still an hour. Yeah.
To Canton.
Yeah.
We're gonna move away from everyone.
That's way out there, Miss Heidi.
Yeah, it's out there.
It's wonderful.
All trees.
So the deal was I was allowed to choose the area I want.
Okay.
But it had to be within like an hour and a half driving distance from my in-law.
Oh.
So that she could come see the kids because her vehicle isn't the greatest. And she's getting a little bit older, so she doesn't like to be on the road for a long time. And not that I really like to either. Like I feel it after those 10-hour drives now.
Yeah, I used to drive.
It's
a lot more than I do now, so
it's difficult to get 3 kids and 2 adults.
Yeah, we don't have that
around with a plane. It's a lot of money. So
ours moved out last year, so
and it's just the one.
Yeah, we just had one.
He's 19. Be 20 in a few months.
Yeah. Tall and skinny.
Beanpole.
What happened there?
He's just tall and skinny.
You're like a brick house.
She's little.
The genetics though. They pulled mom's genetics.
I mean, my brother was 6'6". So
yeah, and skinny most of his life.
Yep.
Till he like got older, mid
Ah,
20s.
crap. I talked about her and she popped on. There you go. Love you, Mom. Oh, man. There you go.
Now you really have to watch
So
what you say.
right? No, she doesn't care. It's my dad. Like my actual biological dad cares about what I say, because I guess the military has a bad way of like making someone curse every other word. And I don't really notice it when I get going. And he's made me more aware of it. So I'm trying to be better, and I'm trying to be more professional ish, I guess. Friendlier for kids to watch and actually learn something too. Because I realize I have actually a decent amount of young viewers. So it's, I don't, like, if I was a parent, I wouldn't want my kids to listen to someone that speaks the way I do.
Yeah, if you spend the weekend with Mike, you'll learn the various uses of the F-bomb. And all of it's very... I mean, it's an
adjective,
noun,
it's a noun,
verb. It's
everything.
Yes.
It's every other word.
And he can speak in a complete sentence.
Yep, and that's all he says.
With that one word alone. Yeah.
It's pretty funny. It's talent.
It's a special kind of gift.
So if you had a pinnacle combo right now that you could create, something that's, I guess it could be in existence, but in existence or not, if there was like a pinnacle combo for you to create right now, what would it be for you?
Like what I can actually create?
Or what you could like pull out of, like, just whatever the genetics are. Not that you actually have to have the stuff to make it, but like there's some, like,
that if we found it, we would buy it.
What's your holy grail that you want to create currently?
Well, that changes. That changes every year. That changes all the time. Like every year it changes.
That's okay.
Like for real. Like it changes like all the time.
So what is it right now?
I want a blackhead GHI Mystic Ultra Hypo Clown.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'd be in for that.
It's a pretty genetic, but
I don't even, what would it even look like?
We have Monarch too. We could throw Monarch in there too if you want.
What I'm saying is, like, I don't think that was...
It's never been done. So a blackhead GHI Mystic Clown has never even been done.
That we know of.
That I know of. Adding Hypo and Ultra to it, that's never been done. So what would it actually look like? I have no idea. It would be dark and not dark at the same time. It would be
a purple.
Yeah. It would look like red wine. It would look like red wine, I would imagine. In my head, it looks like this
red. The clown would bring in like a rusty color, yeah.
Right. And then the Ultra Mill.
And the Ultra
Mill. We can make like sunset monsoons.
I can't. I don't have sunset
monsoons. Well, I
monsoons.
know, but he said we didn't have to have them. I would take some sunset monsoons.
Well, I mean, like, you just want to make stuff up.
Yeah, I just want to make shit up.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, it gives you aspirations. So one of the things,
then you just name every recessive or whatever, and that's boring.
No, because if you put clown and pied together, it doesn't.
People like clown and pied. No. Just because you don't.
Or start throwing regular albinos.
Actually, I do not like... I'm probably going to get slaughtered for this, but I do not like pied and ball pythons. At all?
Pied at all?
Not really. I really like the pattern in ball pythons though, and like I don't like it being pulled away. Or like the blue-eyed Lucy, that's what my wife wanted, so I did a pairing for her so she could have that. But I don't like plain patternless snakes. It doesn't do anything for me. I do like clown pieds just because you get some weird pattern into it, and you can sometimes bring the saddle back into it.
Yeah, but most of the time it's just the head.
Even with that,
if you want pattern and pied, you need inchy Ultra male.
Pinstripe.
Ultra male brings back pattern like a lot. I've hardly ever seen an ultra pod
That doesn't have a lot of patterns.
that
I told
was
you it was
on
coming.
white.
I told you it was coming. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Aurora.
You're
I like
canceled.
Pied and Retics because they have an attitude, and I have a thing about girls with attitude. But
So why don't you like pied and ball pythons? You just don't like the
it's
high
just-
white ones?
He doesn't like the
Yeah,
pattern
like-
reduction. He likes the pattern.
I don't like
So
the
here-
pattern reduction.
So that's the good thing about ball pythons. There's 5 billion different combinations.
It's like ice cream. It's like Baskin and Robbins.
Like what you like and play with what you want to play with. I mean,
I have it because there's certain things I want to play into it just to see what it'll do, and hopefully, I mean, like my wife really liked pies when I first got started, so I was like, hey, she has snakes that she likes to look at because I was trying to use it to coax her to do more.
Yeah.
When I initially started, or like be interested, so I didn't get the door shut in my face
Mm-hmm.
when I dropped money on something. But it's just it's not a gene that I really enjoy.
Yeah, then don't work with it. That's I mean, if you don't enjoy it,
Because you won't.
Well, it's
sell
for
it.
her. Like,
well,
I'm
but
not
yeah,
gonna-
but,
Well, I know, but you don't
She
have
can
to
work
breed
those
it.
out.
but that's
You
all.
don't have
But
to breed it.
that's advice for anybody. If you don't enjoy the gene, don't work with it. Like at the end of the day,
Like if you don't like it, why would you buy it?
yeah. And I talk to a lot of people, like they want a pet and they'll start out with like a normal or whatever, and then they'll want to just give it away or get rid of it and buy something else. Don't just buy what you want. Save up, buy the one you really want because it's a pet, and there you go. You don't have to buy multiple. You
Right.
just wait, save up, buy the one you want.
I completely agree. I'm not fighting that at all. I knew it was going to rise someone, though. I think it's funny.
Yeah. I'm sure I make.
I felt the same way about hypo for a while too, though. Like, and then I started seeing it with certain genes, and that's why I kind of wouldn't get rid of it. Is like, someone's going to produce something that I
Yeah.
actually like with Pied one day, probably. It's just I haven't seen it yet, and I'm sure there's combos out there that are already out there that I would probably like, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So
I see
now,
that.
granted, the girl that I have, like, she's got a lot more, or she's high patterned. Like, she's probably 65 to 70% pattern on her body. So
Mm-hmm.
there's something to play with. But
Well, we've got we've got no white pods.
Those are the best.
Like,
I love them so
yeah,
much.
I would
Their
I
patterns
would-
are so crazy
Yeah.
and so different
because
than
it
anything
wants
else.
it out.
yeah.
Yeah, I love them. I love them.
But I mean that most of our pie stuff, like we keep and hold back higher pattern stuff.
Right.
Whether that is actually,
Genetic or not.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
you know,
So-
if that's passable or not. I mean,
That's what I was just about to ask too. Is like, is that something that you've noticed over the years, where high pattern seems to throw more high pattern, or
I think it does after
is it
you've
in your head that you're seeing it?
No, I think it actually does after years of doing it, right?
Right.
Like that's what we kept and held back and we just kept putting those higher pattern ones together. So now, yeah, we produce
more pattern.
more pattern normally. But that's what we were trying to do all along. So
Yeah.
you're fine.
And then you add, but I mean, if you add certain things into it, if you add cinnamon or black pastel, you take all the pattern away.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
then
We have
you-
some of that too.
and then you add inchy or orange dream, and you add pattern back, or ultramel, or like, yeah, you just add, just depending on what you add and take away. Any of the fire stuff's going to be reduced pattern. Swat nose is low pattern or damn near white. Hidden Gene Woma actually is about 50-50, and it's interesting in pod.
So if you guys could bring in, and we're gonna get ready to start rolling it because I know I've kept you guys for a long time. I kind of feel bad. but not really because I don't get to talk to you enough. So this is gonna be my hi. The typical Arlington.
Well,
Whatever.
show up early to Arlington. You'll get to talk more.
I'll be searching houses on Friday, so I'm gonna try to get to the venue at setup
Okay.
to try to help some people set up a little bit, and then get a chance to look through stuff and talk. That's what I like to do. I like to do everything pre, and then like set up interviews before the show starts because everyone's still relaxed and you're not worrying about customers because it's hell when you make it in on a Saturday to try to be a content creator and you're like, hey, would you have some time
Yeah.
this
Right.
weekend? Yeah, I'll have some time. They never have time because once they
No.
get time, they're trying to relax a little bit because it's a crazy fucking weekend.
I mean, once the show gets started, it's usually pretty busy. Like there's not a whole lot of downtime.
And we've definitely seen it grow over the last 4 years. Like it's
they've doubled the square footage in the last several years, so which is good.
I'm excited for it. I hope it continues to grow that way. I hope that we can eventually say that it's one of the biggest shows. I mean, it's one of the biggest shows, but like I would like it to.
What is it?
Be able to,
like in reality, what is
Pomona,
it? The fourth
Pomona,
biggest?
Tinley,
Daytona.
Yeah, Daytona,
Bigger,
and
then probably Arlington is after that, so it's fourth.
Yeah,
I don't. How big is the St. Louis?
The Schaumburg? I don't know.
I don't know how big.
I've never been to a Schaumburg.
Or St. Louis. Isn't that St. Louis?
I don't know.
Schaumburg was where they had it instead.
Schaumburg's where they had Tinley when they couldn't get in.
Yeah, but there's an NARBC in St. Louis now, I think.
Yeah, I don't know how big that was. I have no clue. I'd like to see a little bit bigger area for the US ARKs, but I understand like they have to play along with what the hotel will give them. But and I think that's a major constriction for them right now because it felt like I know we had to turn away people at this last one during the auction, which kind of sucked. I would like to see more people be able to get in, but you got to do what you got to do and work within your constraints. So hopefully, like I want to see it because I think we did what was it like 30 or
I don't
30 or 40,000 at the last auction, something.
Yeah,
it was one of the biggest auctions at Arlington ever. So
yeah, I think it was 40 something, but I don't remember exactly.
But you guys, if you're going to Arlington, please stop by Southern Star. Like these guys gave us 2 hours tonight when they didn't have to. I know that I'm gonna actually spend some time there and razz these two a little bit. See if there's something I can work into my plans, even though I promised the wife no more snakes. Shh. Hopefully she's not watching.
Bring her by. We'll just have her buy the snakes. Yeah. That's
what
I
she chooses. I can't get in trouble, right?
So I just find something I want and show her, and then I walk away.
He did do that to me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Last week.
I didn't know such thing.
Yes, you did.
So I have a couple of like I have your Morph Market and I think your Instagram and the In Blue podcast. I think I
we're
potentially have your website, but it's not fully developed yet.
No, I just held it. I don't have. Oh my gosh, I don't have time for another website.
Yeah. So
one's enough.
Southern Star Reptiles on Facebook, Instagram, and Morph Market.
We technically have a TikTok, and there's not hardly anything on it. But there's a Southern Star.
You know what? Speaking about TikTok, if Chris is still on here, I remember you talking shit to me when I did my 15 minutes of lame, and I was like, I'm the only person on here with a TikTok. I'm the first reptile person with a TikTok. He's like, what the fuck is a TikTok? You're an idiot for that. And now here we are a year later. He has a TikTok.
He does.
And a bunch of other reptile people have a TikTok. I led like to believe I led the charge on that, but whatever.
I don't
So-
have
It was
So
just a smart thing. People were listening to Gary Vee and they went to TikTok. It is what it is. But I'm going to take the credit for it for like 10 seconds.
I like watching.
Even though I don't
porn.
post anything on it.
Yeah, I don't either.
Thank you guys for your time tonight. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I appreciate
thanks for having us.
all
We'll see you next
the education that you guys give and the laughs and pretty much everything. So it's been really awesome to get to know you guys a little bit better tonight.
Yeah.
Guys, like I said, make sure you reach out to them if you're at the show. And if you're not at the show, reach out to them anyway. They have some really badass animals that pop up all the time. One of these days, I'm going to actually bite the bullet and grab something from him instead of just talking his ear off. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you
Thanks.
later.
Take care.
Bye, Alicia.